Do Roth conversions make sense if you have a $3 million portfolio? That is what we're going to explore in today's case study. We're going to look closer at a 62-year-old couple on the verge of retirement who have $3 million in investments, $2 million in their pre-tax retirement accounts, and $1 million in their brokerage account. They have heard so much about Roth accounts that they feel they missed out and want to know if Roth conversions make sense for them. And the answer may surprise you. If we haven't met before, my name is JP Geisbauer. I'm a certified public accountant, a certified financial planner professional, and this channel is dedicated to helping people retire smarter to live better. I release new videos weekly, so if you enjoy this content, please hit like and subscribe, and you'll be notified when the videos are released. While this video was inspired by the facts and circumstances of some of my clients, this exact fact pattern that I'm describing today is completely fictional. And as with most things related to investing, spending, and income taxes, there can be complicating factors. Sometimes seemingly small changes in one's circumstances can have dramatic impact on the financial plan. The information in this video should not be considered specific advice to your situation. This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. With that being said, let's review the facts for today's case study. Background. We have a husband and wife who are both age 62. Life expectancies. The husband has had some health issues, so we're putting the life expectancy for him at age 75. The wife is healthy, so we'll put her age expectancy at age 90. They have 2 successful adult children. They recently retired after successful careers and would like to leave at least $2 million to the children, $1 million each. Okay, so now that we got a sense for their background, let's look at their finances. They own a home for $1.5 million that they own debt-free. They have $100,000 in cash designated as cash reserve, meaning they want to maintain this amount as their emergency fund. They have $2 million in pre-tax IRAs, $1 million each. They have a $1 million brokerage account with 25% basis. What that basically means is that for every dollar of assets that they sell within that brokerage account, there's going to be about a 75% or 75-cent capital gain associated with that sale. They're planning on claiming Social Security at age 62 because they've been hearing that's the smart thing to do. Their projected Social Security benefit is $4,000 a month at full retirement age. They anticipate spending $7,000 a month to maintain their current lifestyle in retirement. And currently, their investments are invested in a 70-30 portfolio, but they will use the Glidepath strategy. We'll talk more about that later. So given that fact pattern, the client had the following questions. Do they have enough to make it through retirement? Is 62 the optimal age for them to claim Social Security? Do Roth conversions make sense for them? Is their asset allocation appropriate given age, life expectancy, and spending projections? So, given this set of circumstances, let's dive in. Okay, so here we are in case study mode. Where I like to start is the balance sheet. It kind of creates a baseline for where the client is at today. As discussed in the description, the client currently has $100,000 in a joint bank account. They're using this as basically their cash reserve or their emergency fund. They've got $100,000 in a joint brokerage account, and then they have 2 pre-tax IRAs. Each have $1 million. Finally, they own their home outright, and their home is worth currently $1.5 million. Also, as discussed, their current asset allocation is 70-30, meaning they have 70% allocated to equities and 30% allocated to fixed income. But with this client, we're going to use something called the asset allocation glide path. And basically what this does is it starts the equity allocation at a higher amount and then gradually tapers it down as the client gets older. And doing so will basically reduce their equity risk on the entire portfolio. So as you can see here now, we're going to start off at 70%. But by the end of this analysis, we'll be down to about 36%. So that's a pretty significant tapering down of the equity allocation. Now, this will essentially do two things. As indicated earlier, it will reduce their investment risk, but it'll also reduce the ability for the portfolio to grow because there's less high growth assets in it. So as you can see, given the balance sheet and the investment strategy that we're going to use, this client is in a great situation with 100% probability of success on their Monte Carlo analysis and about $7 million of projected ending net assets. But again, remember, the client wanted to know, did their Social Security strategy make sense? So we're going to go over to our Social Security analysis tab and kind of look at the various scenarios. Now, there are three here that are the most popular, right? There's the as early as possible, that's age 62. Then you've got the full retirement age, which is age 67. And then you've got age 70, which is the last year you can claim Social Security. So what this software does basically says, hey, what is the optimal strategy given the situation? Now, remember, the husband in our analysis does have health issues, so he's only projected to live till age 75. So this is kind of an interesting wrinkle to plan around, right? So after doing this analysis, it was determined that the optimal strategy was for the husband to claim Social Security at age 63 and the wife to claim Social Security at age 70. And if we look at that optimal strategy as compared to the current strategy, they're going to earn about $413,000 more over their lifetime using the optimal strategy. So that was definitely something that had the client's attention and wanted to implement that into their retirement plan. So we went back to the retirement analysis and we said, okay, Social Security, let's use the optimal strategy. Hit refresh. Again, so the probability of success is still 100%. And the net projected ending asset balance or investment balance was about 7.2 million, about $150,000 more, give or take, than not doing that strategy. So the client liked that. The other question the client had was, do Roth conversions make sense for them? So let's jump on over here to our tax strategies tab. Now, basically what we're looking at here is we're looking at the client's projected taxable income over their lifetime. And then the horizontal lines are the income tax rates. Now, a couple of things. The withdrawal sequence that we're going to use, and this was one of the questions that they had, was we're going to do the taxable account first, so the brokerage account. Then we're going to do the tax deferred account, which is their IRAs account or their pre-tax IRAs account. And then we're going to do the Roth account. So that's the order in which they're going to draw down their assets. Now, remember, they still do have that $100,000 in cash designated as a cash reserve. So they're not going to use that. That is going to basically be their rainy day fund. But as far as the other assets, this is going to be the way that they draw them down. Now, there's one interesting component to a Roth IRA conversion analysis that I really want to highlight in this particular video. It's something called the estimated terminal tax rate. And what that means is it's basically what your children's tax rate will be when they inherit your pre-tax IRA. Because remember, they're going to have to pay taxes on that when they pull the assets out. So this can have a very profound effect on how well a Roth strategy will work. So let's just do an analysis. The only thing we're going to change is the estimated terminal tax rate. So let's say we're going to get a Roth conversion up to 12%. At the 10% estimated terminal tax rate, they're going to have about a $99,000 higher tax-adjusted ending asset balance. Now, if we just take the estimated terminal tax rate, and let's say we'll move this up to 30, so that's assuming they're living in a high tax state, and they're also pretty high earners, right? So if we refresh that, it goes from $99,000 to almost $415,000. Now, the only thing we changed here was the estimated terminal tax rate. We didn't change balances in accounts. We didn't change investment strategy. We didn't change anything else, just that tax rate. So you really want to make sure when someone presents you with a Roth IRA analysis that you know what the estimated terminal tax rate is and that it makes sense given your scenario. The other thing is, this really highlights the importance of intergenerational tax planning and knowing what your kids' tax rates are going to be when you make decisions regarding Roth strategies. Now, I know you're probably saying to yourself, I mean, how can I do this, right? If your kid's 15 right now, or even in their early 20s, like it's hard to project what that's going to be. But it's not a bad idea to keep it in mind and say, okay, does it make sense for you to start paying taxes now if your child is going to earn so much more later that it's just going to be really, really onerous for them to pay taxes? Because a lot of times people will get these accounts at their peak earning years. I mean, just kind of think about it. If your parent dies at 80 or 90, chances are you might be in your 50s, late 50s. These are your peak earning years. So, you're kind of getting these assets at your peak earning years and having to pay taxes. So again, this just really highlights the importance of intergenerational tax planning between you and your kids, or you and your parents, depending on which generation that you are. Okay, enough of the public service announcement. Let's get back to our analysis. Okay, so for our analysis, we're going to say that our kids' ending tax rate is about 20%. So by doing their Roth conversions to 12%, they're going to have $250,000 more in tax-adjusted ending assets than if they didn't do the Roth conversion. So again, this was something that was compelling enough to them where they figured, okay, let's do it. Because they do have that taxable brokerage account they're going to be able to draw from, which kind of produces a little bit of somewhat tax efficient assets to draw down from to pay the related taxes. So let's go back to our retirement, and we are going to go to tax strategy and we're going to take on our proposed strategy. Now, look, something interesting happens here. We're at 7.2. Now it goes down to 7.1. And you're probably saying to yourself, well, why did the assets go down? And the reason that is this doesn't consider the tax efficiency of those assets. But this particular analysis does. This is the tax-adjusted ending wealth, and it's comparing before doing a Roth and after Roth. And as you can see, after doing the Roth, they are going to have about 48% of their assets in a tax-free bucket. In addition to that, they're going to have 25% of assets in the taxable brokerage account bucket. Now remember, the taxable brokerage account bucket, boy, say that fast 5 times, is going to get a step up in basis upon the parent's passing. So between the step up in basis functionality and the fact that they've got the tax-free bucket, we're looking at what, 48 plus 25, about 73% of their assets are in tax-advantaged accounts. This is compared to about 56% in the taxable brokerage account without doing any of the Roth conversions. So this is a compelling argument in favor of Roth conversions. But again, you'd want to be, not to hype this too much, but you'd want to do that intergenerational tax planning and kind of get your arms around what your kid's tax rate might be in order for this strategy to make sense. Okay, so going back to our retirement analysis tab. Now, the final question the client had would be, could we spend more? And so, not that they're going to do it, but let's just see what happens. Right now, they're at $6,000 a month in retirement expenses. $1,000 if you include the housing stuff, but that's entered in a different portion of the software. But let's just say we're going to double these retirement expenses. We're going to go from $6,000 a month to $12,000 a month. Now, this is extreme, and it doesn't completely torpedo their analysis or their possibility of success, but it does diminish it somewhat, right? We go from 100% down to 63%. And their adjusted ending asset balance goes down to about $800,000 from $7 million from our initial plan. So while the client wasn't necessarily ready to say, yes, I want to immediately increase my monthly spending to $12,000, it did leave them with a sense that they wanted to have a discussion around, well, maybe $12,000 is too high, but it's really starting to become apparent that $6,000 is too low. So were there other things that this client could do or wanted to do now that they sort of know what the ranges are? Could they travel more? Could they give more to their children? Could they give more to charities or institutions that they cared about? By showing this range between the 12 and the 6 of monthly expenses, the client left the meeting with like, hey, we've got some more work to do on this. And maybe there are things we can do to improve the quality of our life and still give a sufficient amount of money to our children. And that's really kind of what that retirement planning process is about, right? I mean, this is an evolutionary process. There isn't necessarily a set it or forget it situation on this. But now that they've gone through this analysis, they do have the tools to have a more informed and reasonable conversation about what their spending in retirement should be. So what do you think? Would you wait to claim Social Security or claim early? Do you think the Roth conversion strategy makes sense? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you have any other ideas or suggestions for case studies, put those in the comments below as well. As you can see, there are a lot of different components to a retirement plan, and many levers you can pull to make the plan work for you. If you'd like to schedule a time with me to discuss your retirement plan, click on the first link in the description below to schedule a time. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.